This one more time. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna hang it up for today. I'll come back later if it ain't working. Hopefully this is working. Now I see the chat. Good. Guys, I had a lot of technical stuff going on here, so I apologize for that. Just trying to make things a little bit better. So yeah, actually, guys, it ain't take 2. This is like take 4. The default on YouTube is to make it unlisted, and a couple of times I forgot to list it there when I was trying to restart because the stream was lagging real bad. But yeah, after that I just had to restart and delete and all that kind of mess. So hopefully things are better now. Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to do this at a different time this morning. I actually have to go to work here in about an hour and a half. So this is going to be about, I'm going to try to keep it on point. But I did have a couple things I want to bring to you guys and show you what's actually happening here. But okay, so anyway, we're just going to jump into this, I guess. Let me just transition over to that. Get rid of that scroll. Yeah, I need to activate my hotkeys too. So, what's going on outside the Earth? Well, guys, there's quite a bit going on. And we're going to jump into that. So, yeah. I'm going to, hopefully I get some mods pop in here. If not, and again, guys, I'm still, yeah. I'm not going to go there right now. Yeah. Oh, goodness. There will be a couple more mods. Isaiah Granny, yes, you're going to be a mod here after this stream. I've had a lot of stuff going on, guys. I haven't had a whole lot of time, as you could tell. This past weekend, I didn't really post, but I did the one stream. And yes, I know it was extremely long. That was not intended. This stuff started happening. We had that little earthquake event happen while I was on stream. Scott had some pictures he wanted me to show. So it just kind of kept going for a minute. And I know everybody that was in there was kind of enjoying it. But, yeah, you won't see me streaming for that long. It's not usually what happens. So, and again, guys, this week I am going to start doing my edited videos again. And I'm going to drop a couple of these live streams in too. So, just to kind of hit everybody. I do want to still give a daily thing because I know a lot of people just want that data and want to see the update, and I get that because, they're trying to do whatever they need to do. So, yeah, hey, Carrie from Fugel. Yeah, Mark's great, man. Yeah, I called into the show the other day, and there was such a big lag, it was hard to get on a little bit of a roll there, get kind of comfortable. I think it was on my end. I don't think it had anything to do with what Mark was doing. And I was actually on a landline. It was kind of odd. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense for it to be doing what it's doing. So, with that being said, I am going to jump over here and we're just going to start going into this stuff, guys, because I do want to get into this. As you can see, guys, we got Schumann stuff going on. This graph here seems to be, if you can tell, let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit. You see all the, very distinct vertical lines? I don't know exactly what's happening with that. If that's an actual signature or not, I don't think that it is because it's so exact down to the millimeter here that, it looks like a tool issue. Some sort of crazy signature or whatever's going on there. I never rule anything out, just so everybody knows. You guys know that about me usually. But this here, it just looks unnatural. It looks like something that would be caused by a tool flaw. That doesn't necessarily mean that it is, though. Okay? Again, so we got a couple different spikes going on here. There's not a whole lot here to talk about on the Schumann right now. But we did have a couple back here and so on and so forth. So, if you're having issues, if your mood's up and down, what we're seeing here could actually be the cause of that. Whenever we're seeing a spike and then a lull, then a spike, then a lull, just kind of up and down, up and down. You know, maybe it's making us all bipolar. I don't know. I didn't really notice a whole bunch this time with this kind of a signature. I did, you know, my daughter's had a lot of ringing in her ears, but she's also had a fever, so she is, it's probably a lot to do with that, other than this. I just think this compounds it sometimes. So, there's your Schumann update. What we're going to do, I had to, like, X out of a bunch of my, tabs I had set up, guys, so bear with me here, okay? Let me get, let's just go over here to my shorts here. That didn't sound very good, did it? Go over here to my shorts. Okay, so I'm just going to open this one up first. This is Space Weather Prediction Center, guys. And the first thing I want to talk about, guys, is this right here. Actually, let's just zoom back out. And then I'll click on it. Okay. You see this right here? This is a pretty low baseline. It was below an A-class flare, you know, baseline. And then all of a sudden, what are we seeing? Whoop! I mean, it's going straight up. I mean, this is a very, very sharp increase that wasn't a flare. Okay, if we've seen a spike and then right back down, that would have been a flare. What we're seeing here is a consistent amount of X-rays that are on a little trend upward. Okay, it took it about a day and a half to get to where it's at. But if you look at this and you kind of just draw a line straight across, our baseline right now would be about a mid-class B flare. Maybe even a little higher. So it wouldn't take much for this thing to flare and to get us up into a C or even an M class. And so what's causing it? You know, and I know that's probably the next question. But right now we're going to look at the geomagnetic activity too. This is extremely low. And our magnetosphere is actually reacting right now, and we've got really, really low solar wind. I don't want to say really low. It's just lower than what we should be seeing if we're moving on our magnetosphere. Okay. So what you're seeing here, guys, is this is the ACE data. Here's the solar wind speed. Here's the density. Okay. They're kind of mirroring each other right now, and that's exactly what you would expect during, you know, kind of ambient conditions. It's very, very low activity, okay? There's not a whole lot going on as far as effects on our planet and things like that when we're talking about geomagnetics, okay? The phi angle, it's still at the top. It hasn't done its little flip yet. The BZ, that's all hanging. They're not separating from each other up here, so there's nothing going on there. Everything just seems to be kind of in the, you know, kind of in the norm. Now, right here, you're seeing the temperature, right? That is pretty variable. What I mean by that is you see this solid yellow line. A data point on here is a dot. Okay? So when they line up right next to each other, they look like a line. And when they line up like that, what that's telling you is it's very consistent conditions. It's not going from high to low really quick. Well, the temperature is kind of jumping around. And this right here makes sense because our magnetosphere is moving and it's reacting. Okay? And I'll get into that here in just a second. But here's what the Enlil model is showing us right now. Again, is it anything to be freaking out about? No, but we are seeing activity, guys, and we're going to talk about that here in a second because this really needs to be talked about a little bit. I hate that, you know, guys, we did a 100-year low in sunspots. Okay, so we're gonna flop over here and we're gonna take a look at this over here at Space Weather. See what you guys got to say here. Hi Canada, how you guys doing? Susie Skywatcher, Johnny Doom, Autumn Joy, Carrie Booth, Isaiah Grandy, good to see you. You will be a mod here in the next day or so. I just, honestly guys, I have not had time to do anything. I do apologize. I really want to do another stream or a video this weekend. I just simply didn't have the time. I want to give a shout out here to Mark Pyers and his channel too. They, you know, when I asked everybody to send me some prayers, he actually did a video and prayed And guys, it works. Okay, just so if anybody doesn't think that stuff works, it does. I can tell you right now that night after I got done with that, and I didn't know he had even done that, and I slept for like 8 hours. That's extremely odd for me. I usually sleep 2-3 hours a day. That was the first time in over a year, I think, that I really got some really good sleep. And I have to think that it had something to do with the prayers. So thanks everybody and thank you, Mark, for doing that. And anybody that participated, I really appreciate it. I know you guys pray for me all the time, but I still am kind of in some issues right now, but I'm not going to go into it. It's not, I'm just going to try to keep it more positive. Anyway, okay, now you see solar cycle 25 strikes back right here. That's what this thing's saying. You know what? While I'm talking right here, I'm going to change my mouse size. So, guys, they do our solar cycle by the number of sunspots that are facing the Earth, the amount of days, right? However many days that we have a sunspot facing us, that is what they consider. That's how they're judging the activity of the sun, and that's how they're plotting solar minimum and solar maximum, right? So, let me, what the heck happened there? Wow. I don't even know what happened there, guys. Okay, we're back to there. Anyway, that isn't really indicative of how active the sun is. Okay, and let me explain. I've been talking about this probably for a month now, and even before this. So, this right here proves what I'm getting ready to say. Solar cycle 25 strikes back. Okay, yes, see this big sunspot? We're going to take a look at it here in a minute. That thing is very active. It's been blowing CMEs all the way around. Okay, and that's my whole point here. Just because we don't have any sunspots on the Earth-facing side does not mean that the sun isn't active. So they really need to take that in consideration, and they don't. I don't understand it a whole lot. Maybe they just didn't have the tools to kind of use. But if they're just going to use one marker to tell us we're in solar minimum or solar maximum, that I just don't know why they would do that when we got other tools that are available now. And maybe they just need to get some historic data collected to be able to do that. Maybe that's the issue. I don't know. But to solely say that the sun's in solar cycle 24, or 25, or 23, the 11-year cycle it goes on, by just saying that, hey, we only had so many sunspots facing Earth. And I get it, like hundreds of years ago when they didn't have technology to see any other side but the front side, right? But now we have different stuff we can use. So why is that not being talked about? And if it is, I apologize, but I've never heard anybody speaking about this other than just a few of us. So, we did break 100-year thing here, okay? The sun's been without sunspots, guys, that are Earth-facing for 31 days, a full month. And if you read this, it goes in, it says, back in 1913, the sun racked up 1,023 spotless days. Guys, that's pushing 3 years, 2.5 years. I mean, are we to sit here and believe that there were no CMEs or any kind of solar activity at all during all that? I don't think so, guys. Number one. Number two, I can show you right now within these 31 days they're talking about, we had CMEs almost every day. It just wasn't facing us. Even the mainstream science channels were saying it. Why isn't, how come it's not coming at us? What's going on? Are we just getting simply lucky? Or what's happening? Right? So, where do we go from here? Well, that's a good question. Just so everybody knows. That is a very good question. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go over here. And we're going to go over here to ISWA. I had all this stuff keyed up, but I had to kill a lot of it, guys, because the stream was just getting way too laggy. That's one of the reasons why I had to restart anyway. So, yeah. What we're going to do, we're just going to look at the sun. going to be that simple, right? And I hate the fact that we have to sit here and watch these stupid things load, but that's what we're going to do. I don't have a choice. So as these things are loading, you know, we got to know that when the sun itself doesn't have sunspots facing us, does not mean that it's not doing anything. Okay? So what we're going to look at right now is this one. I'm going to pause it. Now, you guys see this over here, right? I mean, it's pretty obvious, I would think. So, what we're saying here, guys, when this thing is crusting over the limb, which is what this is. The side of the sun's the limb. This is what they call the left limb, or actually the east limb of the sun. It's backwards of what you think it would be, east-west. Okay? Now, north-south is the same, but east-west is different. This thing, once this thing crests across the edge, and it does come completely earth-facing, I just showed you guys, I'll tell you what, let me go back to that for a second. That's why I wanted to have this stuff keyed up, but it did what it did. So, see, look at this right here, the solar X-ray flux. This is why this went up. That one sunspot, that one very, very active area of the sun. Now, it hasn't completely come over the edge yet. So you can look for more X-rays to happen, and you can look for this to continue to rise. Okay? Now, it's probably going to peak out about right here where it's at, maybe a little bit more. But if it flares, if it sputters at all, it's going to give us into C-class range flares. Now, it wouldn't take much to get it to an M. Now, when our base is up this high, remember that, a few weeks, about a month and a half ago, we were way down here, and we had a spike. If you remember, we had a flare that jumped up into C-class. You see the distance from here to here? If we had been at this base, and that same kind of a ejection or that same kind of flaring would have been happening, it would have jumped way up into here. We could have had an X-class flare, is what I'm saying. So when our base is this high, the chances of getting a bigger, more influential hit from a solar flare is most definitely on the table. Okay? So I'm going to grab this, let's do it this way. Oh, why that stupid thing is, okay. We'll back it off a little bit, I guess. I'm sorry for all the technical stuff today, guys. It just was not working this morning for some reason for me. But as you can see, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this slide bar. And you can see how it's coming over the edge up there. Alright? So I guess what I should do is probably just push play. And we'll zoom in. How about that? That way we can look at it. I got it playing as fast as it'll play. And that's the only bad thing about doing this. You can't really get the view you want while you're trying to grab the scroll bar. So, you can see that it most definitely has got some activity going on there. Watch the loops, okay? Those are magnetic lines connecting, positive and negative. When those things start pinching together in the middle, if they touch, you got yourself a big flare. Okay, it's basically like shorting out. We've all seen the movies and stuff where they, jump start a car that way. Hot wire is what they call it. But you can see right there at the end how it got real active right there. At the end of that time lapse. Watch it get real bright. So, we got to watch this thing, guys. This is going to be something that we're going to have to pay attention to a lot. Because once it gets over here, it don't even have to get all the way over here. If it gets right, once it gets here, within the next day, we're going to have to be watching this thing close for about a week. If it holds to what it's doing right now. And this thing's been healthy for over a week on the other side of the sun. And that brings me to my next point, guys. I'm going to take you guys back, and I'm going to show you guys over on Seeds that just because we had no sunspots facing us during that 31 days, does not mean we didn't have activity, because we most certainly did, and we had quite a bit of it. I'm just going to go back 2 weeks is what I'm going to do. Okay? There's the 8th. We didn't have those sunspots that day, did we? No. Did it mean the sun wasn't active? Most certainly not. Look at that. Okay? Those are decent sized CMEs right there. This isn't something that's small or whatever. I'm going to zoom back in this way a little bit. Okay? So, that was back on the 8th. We'll go the next day. Okay? And then we're looking at more activity here. That's when we first started seeing that like spiraling effect. We've seen that before, but here lately we haven't until, recently. Here's the next day, that's the 10th. 11th. You can see we're still having activity, not a whole lot right there. But to say that the sun is not active, you see that one jet out right there? I showed you guys all this when it was going on. There's another CME right there. Okay? And take in consideration that on the backside, we don't know if it's having CMEs or not. Because it was. We could go look at Stereo A, and Stereo A was picking stuff up back here. So I guess my point here, guys, is I don't want people to get fooled into thinking that just sunspots is the reason that we don't have activity. It's not the way that's going on here. I mean, look at this. And I've already showed you guys this stuff. But my point is, there you go. We got activity. It just is what it is. Okay, there's the 18th, guys. That was Friday. I showed you guys that already in that live stream. But now we also got the continuation of that one here. Okay, and then another one on this side. So even though we had absolutely no sunspots facing us, all this stuff is still happening on the sun. And I could take you back 2 more weeks. We could go through the whole 31 days, and I bet you that there's at least 15, 16 CMEs in there. They might not be big, but it's still activity. And it's still adding to everything that's going on. So, I guess my big thing here is the fact that, we go by this solar cycle, and we want to say that we're in a grand solar minimum, or a solar minimum. When somebody comes up to me and tells me we're in a grand solar minimum right now, I would have to disagree, because we're not. We're in a solar minimum. It's a natural part of the cycle. A grand solar minimum is probably like back there in 1913 that's what they were talking there. You had 1,023 days, no sunspots. I mean, that's got to be way less active than what we're experiencing now. So I guess what I'm saying, guys, I don't want everybody freaking out over somebody telling you we're in grand solar minimum, and we're really not. We're just in a minimum. This is a natural cycle. Okay? There's nothing like, if you go back and look at previous historic records on this, we are dipping down. We are, in the next solar cycle, they are talking about maybe dipping down into that really, really deep solar minimum type stuff. Or the next year. It's probably going to take a compound of 2 or 3 years here to, or even 2 or 3 solar cycles to understand if we're actually even in that deep of a cycle. Now there are things going on around our planet, okay? All over the place, all the time. But it doesn't necessarily have to lead back to one thing. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I think it's a combination of everything. It's not just one thing. Now, I would say that the sun is probably the biggest culprit when we're talking about, if we're going to go down the catastrophe line of thinking. But maybe not. Who knows? But, listen. We're just going to do what we can do, right? I mean, we can't control any of that. And none of it. So let's go back over here to ISWA. Because I want to show you guys. Yeah, let's go back to here. I think I already got that. Okay, yeah, here's ISWA. I'm going to zoom out. Okay, this is our magnetosphere. Now, what I want you guys to look at first is this one. This is the solar wind map, okay, or graph, whatever you want to, tool, I guess we could call it. Well, I like to call a lot of people a tool, but I don't. Anyway, so this here is the actual solar wind speed. You see where my arrow is? I'm going to just drag this thing and watch. Look how long it stays under 300 there. For hours. Okay, and it barely crested 400 or 500. I think it got into 6 for just a second there. Okay? Maybe. Just for a split second, if at all. Right? So, this is what we got to look at right around our planet right now. And again, guys, I had all this set up and it just jacked me all up again. So, from now on when I do this stuff, I may just try something different. So I can have stuff set up and ready to go. Alright, so we're looking at our magnetosphere here, right? Why is this thing reacting at all? If we're not having any kind of activity, no increased solar wind, any of that stuff, why is this thing doing anything like this? Okay, now let me you can see these kind of little crazy looking whatever going on here. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this particular graph because it's showing you exactly what I'm saying. I've been talking about it. We're still acting like a capacitor. We're holding this energy. Finally, we got to let it go at some point, and we do. I've been talking about directional stuff, and this is very evident in this particular one because watch up here. So I'm going to go forward now. Watch what happens. You guys see that? Dip in like that? It's not doing it over here. Just right here. And then as it goes out, look, check out what it does. And even there. So it's like our magnetics are getting pulled that direction. Or we're taking hits of some sort. But my point here is that, look, 290 is extremely low for any kind of activity to be going on. And the density isn't really that high. I just showed you guys that on ACE. But yet we're still getting, our magnetosphere is still doing things. So you have to ask why. That's what I'm saying here. It's not nothing to be freaking out about. I don't want people doing that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that that's why are we seeing those kinds of signatures if we're really low in solar wind as far as speed and all that. I don't know. I just wish that, and again, this goes back to, are we active or are we not? Well, I tend to say that we're becoming more active, and I've been telling everybody for a long time that we're ramping up faster than what I think anybody thought we would. Even though, see this little sunspot here? We got activity other places too. Even though we're not having sunspots yet, it doesn't mean that we're not active. Matter of fact, I would argue the fact that this is more dangerous than having a bunch of sunspots at this point, because our magnetic field is weak, and when that's happening, we're not going to be paying much attention to the sun if there's no sunspots. So we can have CMEs, we can have solar flares, we can have filament releases with no sunspots, guys. That's what I'm trying to say. And you can clearly see, look at that little filament right there. It looks like it's getting ready to jump off. It looks like it might have. Okay? Now, we won't see that on seeds yet, So we're just going to have to wait on that one. But you can kind of see where, you know, all these little dancing around, little filaments around the edge. Do you not think that they're not dancing around right here too? We just can't see it because the sun is camouflaging it. So, yeah. Okay. Now, again, I had all this keyed up, but I apologize. We'll go ahead and go to this. You know, guys, we've been talking about, and this leads me into this. This is an article I came across, and yes, I know there's issues with this. Okay, I'm not gonna go down that road on this one. But what they're saying here isn't really, I guess there's no really reason to think that something could be afoot, I guess, if you want to go down and say it that way. But what we're talking about here is the South Atlantic anomaly. Now, you know, I've seen videos on this already other people have made, and I actually kind of agree with a lot of them. So what I'm going to do is, you know, NASA has put a video in here on this article, okay? And what they're talking about is, you know, a dent in the Earth's magnetic field. Now, we know that the South Atlantic anomaly, down here, okay, you see where South America is? This is the Atlantic Ocean over here. There's always been a crazy little anomaly going on down here. The magnetic field has been different for as long as I can remember, right? I'm not sure exactly when that anomaly started, but now it's splitting and it's denting, which means that something's changing. It's getting bigger, and now it looks like it's splitting into two. So I'm going to push play here. We'll just go up here and watch this a little bit. Take this back. I'm not going to play the audio, but I'll stop it here, okay? So you see South America here. This is what they're talking about. It used to be kind of like just right in here, over South America a little bit, right here, and over the Atlantic. Now it's splitting into two. It's getting deeper. So it's just another sign, you know. Something else here on this one, you have to understand that. Let me get it to where I need to see it. You see the compass there? They're showing you that for a reason. That reason is you go down there and you get underneath that South Atlantic anomaly, your compasses aren't going to work right. The magnetics are jacked up that bad in that area of the world. Now, I know it sounds crazy, but it's actually what the truth is. That is what's going on. People in that area, and this is also a good way for me to show you guys what our magnetic field actually looks like. The sun's directly in front of us. You see, this actually is a very good graphic to help you guys understand the three-dimensional aspect of our magnetic field. We're looking at the Earth from behind. The sun's in front of the Earth right here. Okay? So when we're talking about getting hit, you know, when I say, hey, you know, it looks like it could be coming, you know, right towards the equator of the Earth, but it's coming around the edge. What I'm talking about is it's actually having to go way out here because our magnetic field's pushing it out there. This is the three-dimensional aspect of everything. Okay? So with us having this going on, and all the other things that's just compounding things, our magnetic field getting weaker anyway. Now this actually will tell you there, you know, the thinking on what actually causes our magnetic field for us to even have one. It's actually the outer. It's like the mantle and the core. There's metals in there that spin in our inside our Earth, and it's not actually the core itself. It's actually there's a area here that is spinning, and it's basically like a magnetic generator, and that's what's happening. That is the most influential part, and that's why we even have a magnetic field. Now it helps, you know, like the sun helps keep us strong when it comes to that, but it's really our core and what's going on inside our planet. You know, a lot of people like to say we're just, you know, we're like a bar magnet. You know, we got a positive and a negative, and yes, that's true to an extent, but the magnetics are kind of strange all around. It's not very specific. So there's little secondary things going on all over the place, just like that. Okay? So, you know, this is why it's so difficult to even kind of, you know, track what's going on with this. Is this going to get bigger? Is this a byproduct of maybe, you know, the magnetic reversal? Is this a sign of that? I think it kind of is. Do I think that this is the only sign? No. We got a lot of different signs pointing us towards that. The fact that stuff's moving, you know, magnetic north is, you know, nowhere near where it used to be. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. What the heck did I do there? No. So, yeah, guys, I mean, there's not, and again, let's, I tell you what we can do here real quick. We're going to go over here and we're going to check out, because, again, I was going to show you guys this real quick anyway. Here's the earthquakes. Now, we just had this one just pop off. That's why it's red. Another 3-4 there in Southern California. Now, we know we've been having issues, right, with the earthquake stuff. Anytime something happens in a very populated area like LA, it most definitely is something we need to be paying attention to. Okay, so there's that one that happened in LA, the 4-5 right there. Okay, but what I want to point out, and I got the settings on this set to a 4.5 or greater for the past week. So that right there should speak volumes. That's not all the earthquakes. That's just the ones that are over 4.5 or bigger. Look at all these over here. I mean, they're getting, you know, they're susceptible to these things anyway. But this is most definitely an uptick in what we should be seeing. And then we had all this stuff happening over here, right? And it looks like, you know, we get stuff like in Turkey. We got stuff up here in Russia. Down here. Antarctic area. Off the tip of South Africa. Or South America. Sorry. You know, Turkey. What we got here? Which one's it? Greece. And don't get me wrong. These are next to plate boundaries and stuff. Okay, the majority of them. Now, like this one isn't. China, you know, up in here. And to see stuff in Tajikistan, I hope I said that right. That isn't so, you know, like way out of the ordinary. I mean, we do see some there. But to have 2 or 3 of them that are actually of significant size is definitely an uptick, is what I'm trying to say. And it seems as though that a lot of these things are happening around solar weather, you know. And we actually, I'll tell you what, guys, watch this. I'm just going to change it to 2.5 or greater, or even all magnitudes, I guess. Watch this. That's all the earthquakes we've had in the past week. These ones with red are happening right now. Okay? Now, granted, they're daggone. Some of them are like so weak that they're, you know, just little tremors. But you can see. Now, is it a massive amount? We've seen more. I will say that. Okay? It's nothing to be, you know, like, oh my gosh. But what we got to understand is usually when we get a little scared or concerned is when we don't see stuff for a while. Like if this whole map went quiet for like 3 or 4 days up to a week, we start getting a little nervous because we know that the pressure has to be released every so often. If it doesn't, when it decides it wants to, it goes off big, in a big way. Okay? So, that's kind of what I would be looking at there. Anyway. Trying to remember what else I wanted to show you guys. Okay, we'll go over here to...
Sorry, I don't understand.
Yeah, you guys hear that? That stupid thing. Anyway, we got Hurricane Teddy pretty much out of the picture, guys. It's way on out of here, right? I think it's gone. Pretty sure. So, yeah. I mean, that's pretty much a whatever here. I don't think it's going to, I guess it could be, as far as for the United States, I don't think it's an issue. That's what I meant. Okay, I apologize to my Canadian viewers there. I shouldn't have been so nonchalant about that. But that was, that's a close call. If this thing would have been, full strength, that was a pretty powerful hurricane for a while. What the heck is going on with that? My computer lock up? Okay, there we go. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at Tropical Storm Beta. And why are they naming it Beta? Well, it's already went through the whole alphabet. That's how many storms we've had this year so far. Been pretty active. So, we're going to look at this one. We're looking at, very, very minimal winds, okay? Yes, it's tropical storm strength. We're looking at winds at, 50 miles an hour. It's not nothing like, it's not a wind event, I would say. I would think that this is probably going to be more of a rain or and this is in an area that they don't need no more rain right now. And that's why this is kind of an issue. So we're just going to have to pay attention to that and to see what's, for our listeners and our viewers down there, part of our family here, we're going to, send prayers down to them and just make sure everything's going down there. We need to keep it, keep on top of it in case something changes. Now, what's on the horizon? We're just going to have to wait and see, guys. Not a whole lot. I haven't really seen a whole lot of the, I'll tell you what, I bet we can go out and look at the complete Atlantic. Let's go here. Okay. So these are the storms out there right now. Okay. There's this one out here. That's way far away from anything. Well, there's some islands and stuff out here, but this one here, chance of development within 48 hours, saying 0%. It's a disturbance. In other words, they detected low pressure here, and it's not nothing to be really that concerned about. Teddy's here. It's at, what is this maximum sustained winds? 100 miles an hour. It was up to like 140 at one point. Obviously, as it gets into colder water, we can expect that to, weaken. That's something else I want to talk about too, guys. Now, there's some reports and stuff coming out about, the ice up here in the Arctic. How some of it's breaking off and it's starting to melt, and it's actually being held up here. It's being held in by something, okay? And it will release eventually. So when that releases, guys, the Gulf Stream waters are going to be highly affected. If it wasn't for these waters right here, guys, England would have the exact same weather conditions as Moscow does. It's almost on the, London is almost on the exact same latitude line as Moscow. So it's just as far north as Moscow is what I'm saying. The reason why they don't get the terrible winters and stuff typically is because of this Gulf Stream waters. That's the road it takes. Okay, it goes right on up in here through here, up here, over towards there, and back down and around. And it just keeps doing this cycle, right? Well, if that road gets disrupted by a bunch of cold water, number one, it's going to change the salinity of the water, change the salt content. Then it's going to directly take colder water down to where the warmer water is. Obviously, that's going to have an effect. And at some level, if this thing really slows down, or even, God forbid, it stops, our global climate will immediately change. It won't be a no little, let's just kind of ease into anything. If that stuff comes and releases fast enough, we're going to see a direct change. We're talking stuff like, we've had many ice ages before, and I do think that that's probably what causes some of that stuff is issues like that. Not long-lived ice age events, but, and again, guys, it's not going to happen like overnight. We're going to know if it starts to happen, because we're going to start seeing water temperature changes all along here. Okay, they've already changed some, but they're not changing real drastic right now. Also, we could, simply just watch the weather in London. It would most definitely help us keep track of what's actually going on. Oops. Do that. Okay, guys. So, you guys got any questions? I know that wasn't, sorry about all the technical stuff issues there earlier. Hey, Hilly Billy, how you doing, buddy? No, I don't have a PayPal, bud. I'm thinking about starting a Patreon. I'm not sure if I'm even going to do that. I do appreciate that, though, Hilly. I really do. You know, guys, the reason I'm thinking about starting a Patreon is I want to. My wife has always wanted to go back to school, and you know, it's fallen on me a little bit. I want her to be able to do that, and it really bugs me that she hasn't been able to do that. She's been in her job for over 25 years, and you know, I guess lack of a better word, she kind of got stuck into a position that she can't grow from now. I don't want to call it a dead-end job because it's not, but she wants to do something a little bit different. She works in a bank. She actually went to school for a year for design. That's what she, you know, she believe it or not, guys, she's made like 5,000 masks. At first we were giving them away. That's just what we were doing. But now she's having to charge some because we can't afford it. You know, and whatever your stance is on masks, that's not really what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, Hilly, I'd love for you to be, yeah, you'll be a moderator. I got to get over there and change. There's like 3 or 4 of you guys in here probably right now that I need to get to be moderators. I need it because I'm not sure. I like to be able to, yeah, have a good day, Robin. I like to be able just to, you know, put the chat away so I can concentrate at least for a while and know that it's being taken care of. And I know you would be able to do that, Hilly. You've been around, you know, Texas station there. There's been some, been some crazy stuff going on that one before, hasn't there? People get in there and get stupid, man, especially on these news stations, man. And they get nuts. Hot Rod Lake from Tatooine. Oh my gosh, you're a Star Wars freak, just like me. Love it. But yeah, Hilly, I'll add you to the mod, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah. I tell you, man, I just don't get it. You know, the only reason to do what they do sometimes, trolls, is just for no other reason, just to cause problems. Oh, Van Allen, Sin, yeah. The Van Allen belts are most definitely something that we keep an eye on. When we're getting x-rays like I just showed you guys, that does add some of the radiation and stuff to those Van Allen belts. And that is the biggest issue. We can't go really into deep space yet. That's what we're told anyway, you know, because they get outside our magnetic field and they have to figure out, you know, a way to get far without getting just bombarded with radiation. It's yeah. What'd you say, North Swede? I don't even know what you said. I didn't even see it. And I'm no troll. I'm bringing the fact. Okay. What kind of fact you bringing? I didn't see your comment. Ice Age? Is that what you're talking about? That one? I'm not saying we're going to go into an Ice Age. That's not what I said. I said that you know, once that water releases up there, the salinity will change. And I said, my exact words were, you know, there's a good chance that sometimes some of these mini ice ages could have been caused by events like that. That's what I said. So yeah, trolls are hate mongers. For sure. You know, guys, I let everybody's comment stand unless it's vulgar or it attacks somebody else. I just don't, you know. Usually what ends up happening, it will, if it's a true troll, it's really just in there trying to get crazy. I leave their comments there, and they think because what they'll do sometimes, guys, this is a technique they use, just so you guys know. They will go in there, drop a comment, let it sit there for 20, 30 seconds, take a screenshot for themselves, and then delete the message. Okay, why do they do that? Because then they can go back and post a video saying, hey, look what I said here, and then he booted me. Look, my comment's gone. That's not what happens. They retracted it themselves most of the time. Oh, I know, North, no, we're good. That's what I said, guys. It's not like that at all. I don't get offended, guys, unless it really is. You know, I want people to challenge. I really do. I think that's how we all get better. I really do. I really honestly believe that. You know, we don't always have to agree on everything. That's just what it is. Yeah, whack a troll. But for as far as what I do here, the comment sections and things like that on my chat and all that, I usually just let it sit there because eventually it'll come back around and they'll make themselves look crazy, look like fools. You know, so attack all you want, as long as it's kept clean. But if it's kept clean or it's not attacking another channel or another sub, it'll stay there. You can come at me all you want. So yeah. Yeah, guys, sorry about all that technical stuff earlier, man. I mean, it was really kind of, I don't know, this morning the little gremlins were out into the systems, I guess. A couple of it was my fault. I actually had it set up and I had too many tabs open, guys. I think that's what happened the first time. So I went through and I just took out all the tabs, and that's why it took me a minute to kind of pull everything up as I was going through my, video here today. But yeah, I appreciate all the interest in being mods, guys. I really do. I'm going to add quite a few of you guys just to keep it, make sure that I can concentrate on what I need to. And I like conversating with you guys. And again, guys, I will say this: I will be doing more edited videos this week. I want people to understand that. I know that I've only done live streams for the past week or two, but I'm just trying to get used to it, and that's the only reason. Hopefully I'll be able to get to the point where I can bring other people in. It wouldn't be that hard to do that, but it's a matter of getting things set up on the screen and all that stuff. So, but yeah, guys, just keep your head on a swivel. That's what I say. There you go, Hibbley. That's awesome. Awesome. Yeah, again, yeah. North Swede, thank you. I really appreciate that. Oh, thank you, Witches Brew. Appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know. Hillbilly's in here. He knows. I mean, we've seen trolls for years, and they will come at people for no reason. I mean, for no reason. Like over on Texas News Station, that's where me and Hilly met, and it most certainly. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate that. All he was doing is putting up news headlines, and people would be in there just totally just smacking him across the face, man. And it's like, why? All he's doing is showing headlines. It ain't him. It's the news. It was nuts. But yeah. So. That was back when, we had all the issue going on with little Kim boy over there trying to fire off all them bad things into the air. There was a lot of anxiousness around that, and I know that people come in there, they're just trying to do stupid stuff, but it is what it is. How many do I think that are paid? I do believe that there are some that are. If you want to go as far as talking about shills and stuff like that, I do know that it was proven that there is a coalition of 5 different countries that have come together and they've actually got these groups set up and they will attack specific people. But I don't worry about stuff like that, guys. I really don't. Because what I'm saying is out here, and when I put it out here like this, it comes with the understanding that I know that it will be scrutinized. Okay? I do know that. And that's what we all have to understand, those of us that are doing channels. Because if you think you can just say something out in the public and then not get you know, at least some way challenged, you're fooling yourself. Because that's what it's there for. You're challenging something else, so why can't they challenge you back? As long as it's respectful. Now, when it gets disrespectful, that's when it becomes troll territory. So, that's the difference. If anybody wanted to know that. That's exactly what I do, you know. I don't want to come out here and just be ignorant to the fact that if I can have my voice here, why can't somebody else have their voice in what I just said? You see what I'm getting at? It's that whole free speech thing. You know, I actually had to ban somebody. I don't know, gosh, it's been over a year ago. And it was for no other reason than just the vulgarity. It really wasn't the substance of what he was saying. But the vulgarity, and I gave him warnings upon warnings. And, you know, guys, I got like maybe 8 or 9 people that are banned. That's it. And I've been doing this for 2 years. Close to it. So, that's, you know, that right there speaks for itself in my opinion. That I don't ban people unless it's really bad. Again, I have my own little thing there, you know. If you're going to attack somebody else, that is an immediate, you know, hacking right there. I don't allow that. Even if it's attacking other channels that I don't like, and people probably can kind of understand the channels that I don't really care for, even though I don't speak it, I don't even let people attack those people. I just don't think it's productive. I don't think that it helps. Matter of fact, I think it hurts. Because it takes the focus off what we're trying to, you know, get out there, you know. But I also understand the fact, like when Hilly's over there doing his messages and stuff, you know, preaching the word and stuff. Listen, you can't have people in an environment like that getting all nasty and vulgar, because that's directly against what he's trying to say. And those kinds of things have to be out and out quick. So, you know, because if somebody just stops in and sees all that vulgarity and they're not there for that, what are they going to do? They're going to bolt. And that's the whole point of that. I know Hilly's got thick skin by now. I know, shoot, he's had thick skin since the beginning. I had to learn that. So, but that is what it is. That is why we do what we do, guys. It really is. So, yeah. That's true, Hilly. I mean, and that's what you got to do sometimes. You know, you broadcast at the same time usually. You know, you're on like a schedule. I'm not so much, because I'm around all the time, you know, everywhere. I go to work at crazy hours sometimes. My kids got me doing this, that, and the other. Most of my stuff's done in the middle of the night, and unfortunately, streaming that late at night isn't really good for getting everything out there really quick, like, because I do think it affects the amount of views, which I don't care about the view thing, other than I want people to hear what I have to say. It's not about a click or anything like that for me, because I don't monetize my channel. So it's not affecting me in that way at all. So with that being said, guys, I am going to have to end it. I got to go to work. So I hope you guys have a great start to the day. If something happens later on today, I'll pop back on maybe with an edited video or a short stream. Thanks for all you guys' help in here. I hope you guys just have a great start to your week. God bless you guys. Yahushua saves, and you can drink this Kool-Aid.